entire life since I was a baby. I first wanted to be Frank Sinatra, and then I wanted to be Billy Joel, then I wanted to be Morrissey. So that makes me the weirdest singer in the history of the world. But it's just been, since I was a kid, I wanted to do anything in music.
Born in New Brunswick, raised in East Brunswick. I'm an English teacher in Newark, which when most people hear that, they think, oh, how dangerous is that? But the most dangerous thing I do is drive on the Parkway every morning, which is absolutely terrifying. But I love teaching English. I actually play the guitar for the kids all the time. Brent and I have played local talent shows there, which they really get into it.
Brian and I don't remember ever there being a time where Brian and I weren't in some sort of band. We created our first band when I was 10 and Brian was 8. We didn't really know how to play our instruments. We were called the Dials. And we would sit up in the living room with our neighborhood friends and play spoons as drums. And I kind of knew how to play piano, but it was everything I've ever done in music, Brian has been there. I can't think of it any other way. He's my right arm and my better half. And, everything I do musically is involved with him.
It was interesting because Brent probably got way into it first, where I remember he would sing Frank Sinatra tunes. He would put on his little shows, and he was probably someone I looked up to much earlier than I give him credit for, where he would put on little Broadway show tunes on like Easter and Christmas, and it was just fantastic. And he became a songwriter before he even knew how to play instruments, and it was just something I always looked up to. And he played guitar first. He actually taught me probably more about guitar early on than any guitar teacher I ever had. So it was all him that started like everything, and he took a lot from my aunt.
We had another band, and it wasn't the kind of music we wanted to play, and it wasn't going where we wanted it to go. So I decided to go with journalism, which is what I studied in college, and I moved to Virginia for a sports writing job, which was a good career move for that. But it kind of tore apart the band, and so when I was down there, I started playing in coffee houses, and I started writing songs again at my kitchen table.
Yeah, we were in a alternative rock band called Rest Assured. We played a lot of like 90s type rock and roll. We actually were pretty big around the New Brunswick area, but once we went to Virginia, I was actually kind of pissed off at the time because I thought we had something good going. What he made me become a better songwriter because then I started writing on my own.
And I would send cassette tapes to Brian that I recorded on a Walkman. And none of those songs are really played today, but it was the genesis of what got us starting doing music again. Because I don't think he was very happy with me moving to Virginia, but that's what got us going back.
I'll go with that one because I'm on the road all the time. I'm driving 2 hours a day, and I knock on wood. There's not wood around here, but the imaginary wood. I will not get in a car accident in the near future.
Your brother's almost killed me like 8 times.
I know, he's the worst driver of all time.
I remember writing Brian a note on a piece of computer paper with a Sharpie saying, let's write songs tomorrow, let's get something going, because I'm sorry I was away for 2 years, I want to do this again. I put it on his bedroom floor. And a friend in the neighborhood allowed us to use his basement to write songs, and we wrote a slew of songs, and it became the first Clydes EP or demo or whatever you want to call it. And that was the genesis. Was
anyone who's driven with Brent will not drive with him again. I actually have never been in a car accident.
I know all the words to "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that'd be it. Especially Brian. Brian knows everything about me. I would think he does at least. It's easy when you share a bedroom next to someone for 30 years or 28 years.
I was in Liverpool. Did I tell you about that story? So I'm at the Casbah Club where the Beatles got their big start. I walked down and I'm literally almost decapitated. That's how low it is. I mean, the ceiling has to be about 4 feet high. It's like for midgets. And I don't know how tall the Beatles were looking back on it, but it was literally the whole time. The ceiling is right on my head. I don't know how they played shows there. And but overall,
the English are a short people. It's the diet of cabbage.
But they don't really have as bad teeth as people make out.
An album we disagree on?
Yeah.
You don't like the new
I don't like
Prince?
anything Prince has released since 1990.
All right, talk about Prince.
Well, I think the new Prince song "Group Potential" is actually fantastic. See, you don't like Breakfast Can Wait. I don't know why.
No, because it sounds like Flight of the Conchords parodying
Yeah,
the
but
Prince
that's just
song.
because Flight of the Conchords came out recently.
I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
You know what I'm saying? If Flight of the Conchords wasn't there, you wouldn't make that argument.
Prince is more important than most musicians in the history of the world, but it seems like he's been coasting for the last few years.
He has not been good. He's playing with,
He does do weird shows, and one of the best live shows we ever saw was Prince of Madison Square Garden. It was fantastic. He told everyone in the crowd he was going to get them pregnant.
He likes Katy Perry too much. That's probably a boring fact, but I'll go with that. I'm an excellent driver, in my opinion.
So you're like, if the Clydes ever rob a bank, you're the getaway man?
Oh, totally. I think, you see, if this was 1933, I'd be a great bank robber. Because you could get away with it.